They called it a mistake. A silent mistake. A human was dropped on a Class-9 Deathworld. The galaxy expected screams. They expected panic. They expected a short life. What they got was silence. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with light and fear. Huge screens floated in the air. On them was the image of a planet. Dark green clouds. Red lightning in the sky. Endless jungles and sharp mountains. This planet had a name, but no one used it anymore. Everyone called it the same thing. Class-9 Deathworld. A senior council member spoke slowly. No known species survives more than 10 minutes on this planet. Others nodded. They had the data. They had the numbers. The air was toxic. The gravity crushed bones. The land was full of giant predators. Even machines failed there. Then the screen changed. A small human figure appeared. A scientist stood up in panic. "There has been an error," she said. "A human soldier has been sent to the surface." The room went quiet. A human. Of all species. Some council members looked angry. Some looked scared. One voice asked, "Was this a punishment?" Another replied, "Or a mistake?" No one answered. Far away, inside a deep space research station, scientists watched the live feed. The human's name was Ethan. He was a soldier. Not special. Not famous. Just human. The drop pod crashed into the ground with fire and smoke. The camera shook. Trees broke like sticks. Then, stillness. The timer started. 1 minute. The human did not move. 2 minutes. The scientists leaned closer. 3 minutes. A scientist whispered, "He should be dead by now." The pod door opened. Ethan stepped out. The planet welcomed him with pain. Gravity pulled him down hard. Every step felt heavy. The air outside his helmet was green and thick. His suit sensors screamed warnings. Toxic levels high. Pressure unsafe. Life risk extreme. The jungle around him moved. Something growled far away. Huge shadows passed between trees. The ground shook with slow, heavy steps. The scientists waited for panic. They waited for screams. But Ethan did not scream. He stood still. He looked around. 5 minutes passed. Still alive. The council members began to whisper. "This is not possible. No species lasts this long." The camera zoomed closer. Ethan slowly touched his helmet. The scientists shouted, "No, don't remove it." But he did not hear them. With calm hands, Ethan unlocked the helmet. The seal broke. Toxic air rushed in. Everyone held their breath. Ethan took a deep breath. He coughed once. Then again. His body shook. The scientists jumped from their seats. "That's it," someone said. "He's done." But Ethan did not fall. He stood straight. His breathing slowed. His eyes focused. The sensors went crazy. Human lungs adapting. Oxygen intake stable. The room fell silent. 10 minutes passed. The death time limit. Ethan was still standing. Sweat rolled down his face. His skin slowly changed color under the harsh sun. He looked tired. But alive. One council member whispered in fear. The planet did not kill him. Then the jungle went quiet. Too quiet. Bird sounds stopped. Insects vanished. Ethan felt it. Something was wrong. The camera feed began to zoom out. The scientists did not control it. The system followed movement. Trees bent. Leaves fell. Something massive shifted in the shadows. Two glowing eyes opened in the dark. Bigger than a tank. Silent as death. Watching the human. Waiting. The feed froze for half a second. Then came one final data line. Unknown predator detected. The screen cut to black. The screen came back to life. Static cleared. The jungle appeared again. Ethan was still there. Alive. That alone shocked everyone watching. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, no one spoke. The silence was heavy. A scientist finally whispered. The timer passed 10 minutes. Another replied slowly. Nothing survives past 10 minutes. But the human did. Eyes turned to the screen. On the Deathworld, Ethan stood under the dark sky. His chest rose and fell slowly. Every breath burned his lungs. The air tasted bitter. Like metal and smoke. His muscles felt heavy. Gravity pressed on his bones like an unseen hand. But Ethan adjusted. He bent his knees slightly. Changed his stance. Let his body accept the weight. Human bodies were used to pain. The jungle watched him. Trees taller than buildings. Vines thick like cables. Strange sounds echoed from every direction. Low growls. Sharp clicks. Deep roars far away. Ethan did not panic. He walked forward. Each step was slow, but steady. The scientists zoomed in on his face. His eyes were calm. Focused. No fear. A council member spoke in disbelief. Why is he walking? Another answered. Other species run. They scream. They lose control. But the human is calm. The data screens flashed. Heart rate elevated. Stress present. Panic absent. That made no sense to them. Ethan reached a small clearing. A pool of dark water sat in the ground. The sensors screamed again. Water contaminated. Chemical threat detected. The scientists shouted. Do not drink it. Ethan knelt. He touched the water. Smelled it. Then he drank. The room exploded in noise. He's poisoning himself. No species can survive that water. The council members stood in shock. Ethan wiped his mouth. He waited. Nothing happened. His stomach twisted for a moment. Then settled. The sensors updated. Human digestive system adapting. Toxins processing. Silence returned. One scientist whispered. What kind of species is this? Then the ground shook. Slow. Heavy. Ethan felt it through his feet. Something was coming. The jungle parted. Trees bent outward. A massive shape emerged. A predator. 4 legs. Thick armored skin. Teeth longer than knives. Its breath steamed in the air. Its eyes locked onto Ethan. The feed zoomed in. The scientists froze. This is impossible, one said. That predator kills everything. The predator roared. The sound shook the leaves. Birds fled the sky. Ethan did not run. He looked around. A broken tree trunk lay nearby. Sharp rocks covered the ground. Ethan grabbed the trunk. The predator charged. Fast. Too fast. The ground cracked under its weight. Ethan moved at the last second. The predator smashed into the tree behind him. The jungle exploded with sound. Ethan struck. Not with strength. With timing. He slammed the sharp end of the trunk into the creature's eye. The predator screamed. Pain. Shock. It staggered back. Ethan fell to one knee. Blood ran down his arm. Not the predator's. His. The scientists could not breathe. He's injured. He should be dead. The predator growled again. It could still kill him. But it didn't attack. It stepped back. Slowly. Its roar became a low sound. Not anger. Confusion. Ethan stood again. Pain shot through his body. He ignored it. He looked at the predator. Then, something unexpected happened. He lowered the weapon. The predator froze. They stared at each other. Seconds passed. Then minutes. The predator turned away. It did not run. It limped. Injured. Alive. The council chamber erupted. That predator retreated. No prey makes it retreat. One council member whispered in fear. The human did not act like prey. The camera followed the predator. Blood dripped from its wound. But it stopped. Turned its head. Looked back at Ethan. Its eyes held something new. Recognition. Ethan sat down heavily. He pressed his hand against his bleeding arm. He breathed slowly. His skin darkened under the harsh sun. A natural shield forming. Human adaptation at work. The sensors updated again. Melanin increase detected. Pain tolerance high. The scientists stared in silence. From the trees, the predator watched. Not hunting. Observing. Learning. The feed zoomed out. Far deeper in the jungle, other eyes opened. Bigger shapes shifted. They had seen the fight. They had seen something impossible. A human. Standing. Bleeding. Alive. One final data alert flashed on the screen. Predator behavior change detected. The council member's voice shook. It's not hunting him anymore. Then what is it doing? The camera zoomed in on the predator's face. It lowered its head slightly. Not fear. Not anger. Something else. Understanding. The jungle did not attack. That alone confused the galaxy. The massive predator stayed where it was. Its huge body rose and fell with slow breaths. Blood dripped from its wounded eye, dark and thick. It did not roar. It did not charge. It watched the human. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, voices overlapped. This makes no sense. That creature kills everything. Why is it not finishing him? No one had an answer. The data screens flickered. Predator aggression, decreasing. Threat posture, neutral. The room went quiet again. On the Deathworld, Ethan sat against a broken tree. Pain burned through his arm. His vision blurred for a moment. He tore a strip from his suit. Wrapped it tightly around a wound. He breathed slowly. Human training was simple. Stay calm. Control pain. Think. The predator moved. Every scientist jumped. Heavy steps pressed into the soil. Leaves crushed under its weight. Ethan looked up. The creature was closer now. Close enough to kill him in one move. Ethan did not raise his weapon. He did not stand. He stayed still. The predator lowered its head. Its teeth were stained red. Its skin was covered in old scars. This creature had fought many battles. It was not afraid. It was curious. Why isn't he running? A scientist whispered. Another answered, because humans don't always run. The word sounded strange even to them. Ethan slowly reached into his pack. The predator tensed. Muscles tightened. Claws dug into the ground. Ethan stopped moving. Seconds passed. Then, carefully, he pulled out a small metal can. Food. He opened it. The smell spread into the air. Strong. Salty. Meat. The predator sniffed. Its head tilted slightly. It took one step forward. Ethan placed the food on the ground. Then he pushed it toward the creature. And pulled his hand back. The jungle held its breath. The predator stared at the food. Then at Ethan. Then back at the food. Slowly, it lowered its head. It ate. Inside the council chamber, shock turned into fear. He is feeding it. That's impossible. No species feeds a Deathworld predator. But the human did. The predator finished eating. It did not attack. It did not leave. It sat down. Right in front of Ethan. The ground shook lightly under its weight. Ethan exhaled. A slow breath. He stayed alive. The cameras picked up new data. Predator stress levels reduced. Social response detected. The scientists stared. Social, one repeated. These creatures don't form bonds. They kill. But this one didn't. Night began to fall. The sky darkened into deep red and purple. Strange stars appeared above the trees. The temperature dropped fast. Ethan shivered. The predator moved again. It turned its massive body. And lay down beside him. The jungle wind howled. Distant roars echoed. Other predators were hunting. But none came close. They avoided the clearing. Avoided the human. Avoided the bond forming in silence. Ethan rested his head back. Exhaustion pulled at him. His eyes closed for a second. Then opened. The predator's eye watched him. Alert. Guarding. Inside the council chamber, fear grew. One council member spoke carefully. This human is not dominating the predator. Then what is happening? He is being accepted. The words felt dangerous. As the night deepened, something changed. The predator stood. It looked toward the deeper jungle. Its body tensed. Ethan felt it too. A pressure in the air. A warning. Something bigger was moving. The ground trembled. Not from one body. From many. The sensors screamed. Multiple lifeforms approaching. Threat level, extreme. Ethan slowly stood. The predator stepped in front of him. Protective. Defensive. The jungle parted in the distance. Eyes opened in the dark. More predators. Larger. Stronger. Older. They had come to test the human. And the creature that stood with him. The council chamber erupted. This is it. He cannot survive this. The lead scientist whispered something new. Unless, they fight together. The camera zoomed in. Ethan placed a hand on the predator's armored side. The creature let out a low, deep sound. Not a roar. A call. A signal. Far away, something answered. Something even larger. The trees shook. The ground cracked. A shadow taller than the canopy moved toward them. The ultimate hunter of the Deathworld. The final alert flashed across every screen. Alpha predator detected. Ecosystem apex confirmed. The human stood. The predator stood with him. And the Deathworld prepared its final test. The jungle fell into deep silence. Not the normal silence. This one felt heavy. Like the world itself was holding its breath. Ethan stood still. His injured arm burned with pain. Blood had dried on his skin. In front of him stood the predator that had chosen him. It lowered its body slightly. Muscles tight. Ready to die if needed. Behind them, the jungle moved. Slow. Massive. Something was coming. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, no one sat down. Every being stood, staring at the screens. This is the apex, a scientist said quietly. The final predator of the planet. The sensors screamed. Mass exceeds all known lifeforms. Armor density extreme. Kill record, absolute. No one survived an encounter with it. No one. The trees broke apart. A giant shape stepped forward. It was taller than buildings. Its skin looked like living stone. Old scars crossed its body like history written in pain. Its eyes were not wild. They were calm. Ancient. It had ruled this world for a long time. Ethan felt fear. Real fear. But fear did not control him. It sharpened him. The apex predator let out a deep sound. Not a roar. A command. The smaller predators backed away. Even the one beside Ethan lowered its head. This creature was king. The apex predator stepped closer. Each step crushed the ground. Ethan felt the vibration in his bones. His body screamed at him to run. He did not. He looked around. Fast. Thinking. Broken trees. Sharp rocks. Loose ground. The death world was dangerous. But danger worked both ways. Ethan moved first. He ran. Not away. To the side. The apex predator struck. Its tail smashed the ground where Ethan had been. The impact threw dirt and stone into the air. The ground split. Ethan rolled. Pain exploded in his shoulder. He got up anyway. Inside the council chamber, voices shouted. He's too slow. That thing will crush him. But Ethan was not trying to overpower it. He was trying to outthink it. The predator charged again. Ethan jumped onto a fallen tree. The creature slammed into it. The tree cracked. Ethan leaped off at the last second. He landed hard. Bones screamed. But he moved. The smaller predator, his ally, attacked. It jumped at the apex's side. Claws scraped stone-like skin. No damage. The apex predator struck back. One hit. The smaller predator was thrown through trees. Its body crashed to the ground. It did not move. "No," Ethan shouted. The sound ripped from his chest. Anger burned hotter than fear. The apex predator turned toward Ethan. Its eyes locked onto him. This time, it charged to kill. No test. No warning. Ethan ran straight at it. The council chamber exploded in panic. He's insane. He's dead. But Ethan saw something they didn't. The ground. Cracked. Unstable. At the last moment, Ethan jumped aside. The apex predator's massive weight hit the weak ground. The earth collapsed. The creature fell partially into the pit. It roared. Furious. Trapped. Ethan did not stop. He grabbed a sharp metal rod from his broken pod. He climbed. Pain. Blood. He ignored it. The apex predator struck upward. Its head smashed into Ethan. He flew through the air. Hit the ground. Everything went dark for a moment. The feed shook. Heart rate spiked. Life signs unstable. The scientists whispered in horror. He's dying. Ethan opened his eyes. He remembered Earth. Storms. Oceans. Pain. Humans were born in danger. This world was not worse. Just different. He stood. Slowly. Every muscle screamed. The apex predator stared. Confused. The prey was still standing. Ethan grabbed the last explosive charge from his pack. He waited. The apex predator pulled itself free. Roared. Charged. Ethan threw the charge into the open wound left by the fall. He turned. He ran. The explosion shook the world. Fire. Smoke. Stone cracked. Silence. The smoke cleared. The apex predator lay still. Its chest did not rise. The king had fallen. The smaller predator moved. Slowly. Broken. But alive. It crawled toward Ethan. Ethan fell to his knees. He reached out. Touched its head. Still breathing. Inside the council chamber, no one spoke. One scientist finally whispered the truth. The planet tested him. Another replied. And he passed. The final data update appeared. Apex predator neutralized. Human standing. Ecosystem behavior altered. Far across the Deathworld, creatures felt it. The king was dead. A new presence existed. Not a ruler. Something worse. A survivor. The camera zoomed in on Ethan. He stood, bloodied, tired, alive. The sun rose behind him. Then a new signal appeared. Unknown object entering orbit. A rescue ship. Ethan looked up at the sky. He did not smile. He did not cheer. He just said one thing, "Is that all?" The sky burned bright. A massive ship broke through the clouds. Silver metal. Alien symbols. Rescue had arrived. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, chaos erupted. He's still alive. After the apex predator. This changes everything. Screens showed the ship slowing its descent. Medical teams prepared. Security teams armed themselves. No one knew what they were going to face. A survivor? Or something else? On the ground, Ethan shielded his eyes from the light. The wind from the ship pushed trees back. Dust filled the air. He stood still. Waiting. The ramp lowered. Armed guards stepped out. Weapons raised. Their scanners went wild. Radiation exposure, extreme. Injury level, critical. Life signs, stable. That last line made them pause. Ethan walked forward. Slow steps. Calm. His skin was darker now, burned by the Deathworld sun. Cuts and bruises covered his body. But his eyes were clear. Focused. Alive. One guard whispered. "How is he walking?" Another replied. "Humans, apparently do that." Behind Ethan, the jungle moved. A shadow stepped out. Huge. Armored. Silent. The predator. Alive. Standing behind the human like a living wall. Weapons snapped upward. Alarms screamed. Hostile life form detected. The rescue team panicked. Fall back. Prepare to fire. Ethan raised his hand. Stop. One word. Simple. Calm. The guards hesitated. Ethan turned his head slightly. The predator stopped moving. Sat down. Obeyed. Silence swallowed the moment. The guards stared. The camera zoomed in. Across the galaxy, billions watched. A human. Commanding a Deathworld predator. Without force. A rescue officer stepped forward carefully. "Human Ethan," he said, voice shaking. "You must come aboard immediately." Ethan nodded. Then turned. He walked toward the ship. The predator followed. "Wait," the officer shouted. "That thing cannot come with you." The predator growled low. The ground vibrated. Ethan stopped. He looked back at the officer. Simple eyes. Tired eyes. He saved my life, Ethan said. He stays. The officer swallowed. That creature kills everything. Ethan replied quietly. Not everything. Inside the council chamber, arguments exploded. You cannot allow this. That predator is a weapon. This human is a threat. One council elder raised a hand. Silence fell. We sent him to die, the elder said slowly. He survived. Whatever follows, is our responsibility. The predator stepped onto the ship. Metal groaned under its weight. Alarms screamed again. But it stayed calm. Close to Ethan. Protective. Medical staff rushed forward. Scanners covered Ethan. Broken ribs. Internal damage. Blood loss. Then the report ended with one line. Human recovery probability, high. The room went quiet. As the ship lifted off, the death world shrank below. Jungles burned orange under the sun. Predators watched from the trees. They did not roar. They did not chase. They bowed their heads. In orbit, the council contacted Ethan. A massive screen appeared in front of him. Alien faces filled it. Fear. Confusion. Respect. One council member asked the question everyone wanted answered. What was the planet like? Ethan thought for a moment. He looked at his hands. At the scars. At the predator beside him. Then he shrugged. It was rough, he said. A pause. Then he added. But not that bad. The chamber exploded. That's impossible. That world kills everything. Ethan looked up again. Confused. That's it, he asked. You sent me there, for that? Silence crushed the council. They had no answer. New alerts flashed across every system. Human species threat assessment updated. Survival rating increased. Danger classification pending. One scientist whispered the truth. We didn't drop him on a death world. We dropped a death world resident, on another one. Ethan sat down slowly. Exhaustion finally reached him. The predator lay beside him. Guarding. Loyal. The galaxy had learned something new. Death worlds were not the most dangerous thing. Humans were. The room was silent. Not normal silence. The kind that comes after fear. Ethan sat on the medical platform. Lights moved slowly above him. Machines checked his body again and again. Broken bones were healing. Burned skin was repairing itself. His heart beat strong. The doctors did not understand. They had never seen a body like this. The predator lay beside him. Still. Watching. Every medic stayed far away from it. But it did nothing. It only stayed close to Ethan. In the Galactic Council chamber, the elders gathered again. This time, no one shouted. No one argued. They watched the human on the screen. Alive. Calm. One council elder finally spoke. Human Ethan, he said. We need to understand. Ethan looked up slowly. Tired, he said. But listening. The elder asked the question carefully. How did you survive? Ethan thought. He did not answer quickly. He remembered the jungle. The pain. The fear. Then he spoke. My world trained me, he said. The chamber leaned in. On my planet, Ethan continued. Storms can destroy cities. Animals hunt us. The ground shakes. The oceans kill. The scientists exchanged looks. That sounds like a death world, one whispered. Ethan nodded. We call it home, he said. The chamber froze. Another elder asked. Your world is worse than Class 9. Ethan shrugged again. Depends on the day. Screens changed. Data from Earth appeared. Gravity. Weather. Predators. Natural disasters. The numbers climbed. Higher. Higher. Past Class 9. A scientist whispered in horror. This isn't a death world. Another finished the sentence. It's a cradle of survivors. The predator beside Ethan made a low sound. The cameras zoomed in. Ethan placed a hand on its head. It relaxed. He chose you, an elder said. Yes, Ethan replied. Because I didn't act like prey. The words echoed through the chamber. Across the galaxy, news spread. Fast. Planets shut down broadcasts. Military fleets changed routes. Trade routes shifted away from human space. Fear moved faster than light. A new classification appeared. Human species status, unknown. Then it updated. Potential apex civilization. The council asked one final question. What would have happened, the elder said slowly. If you were not rescued? Ethan looked at the predator. Then back at the screen. I would have adapted, he said. Silence. I would have learned, he continued. I would have survived. And eventually. He paused. The planet would have changed. The meaning hit them hard. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just terrifying. The elder swallowed. You mean, the death world? Ethan nodded. It would have stopped being one, he said. The chamber went dark for a moment. Not because of power loss. Because no one spoke. The predator stood. It walked to the window. Looked out at the stars. Ethan followed. Will you return to your world? The elder asked. Ethan smiled for the first time. Yes. And the predator? Another asked. Ethan placed his hand on its armored side. He comes with me. No one objected. No one dared. As the ship jumped to hyperspace, a new law was written. Simple. Clear. Final. Never send humans to test worlds. Never assume humans are weak. Never forget, humans come from a death world. Far away, on the planet below, the jungle moved again. New life grew. Predators adapted. The ecosystem changed forever. Because it had met a human. The final narration echoed across the galaxy. They feared death worlds. They studied them. They avoided them. Then they met humans. And they understood the truth. Humans are not born on death worlds. Humans are the death world.